My name is Mathies, and I'm the creative director at MachineGames.
Armies of steel and thunder. They're rewriting history.
There must be some kind of way out of here.
But they forgot about me.
So what were your main goals when you started the franchise? I mean, what did you look at and say, we've got to do this and we've got to do that?
I think it's different from different perspectives. Like from a gameplay perspective, there's a lot of things that we really love about the classic sort of id Software shooters. And the fact that you have to be sort of constantly on the move and thinking on your feet, and you end up in these really visceral combat experiences. So that was something we were really keen on capturing. And then, but from a storytelling point of view, that's never been a priority, or especially not in Wolfenstein 3D, which is, so whatever stuff was there, like we really wanted to honor B.J. Blazkowicz in his original incarnation as this sort of muscle-bound action hero, but we wanted to add more to that. We wanted to put him in a world where he was out of his comfort zone, where he didn't have the army behind him, where it was just him against this overwhelming enemy, and everything he ever fought for was lost, sort of. So it's a different thing depending on what specific aspect of the game.
Have you changed him much as a character?
We don't want to violate any of his history, but we want him to be true to that original Wolfenstein 3D face that you have there below on the screen. We wanted to make him all of that, but still introduce layers of depth to his character and make him somebody that you could care about, and that was a real human being, you know.
There seems to be lots of nods to the old school game. Was that one of the main things that you wanted to do, just be faithful to the original audience?
Yes, and but it's more that we are sort of the original audience too, right? So it's more about making the kind of game that we would really want to play. Like if we saw, oh, there's a new Wolfenstein game, we want to make it so that it has everything that we would love in such a game.
So there's a lot of you guys that were former Starbreeze guys.
Mm-hmm.
One of the trademark and the kind of DNA of that studio was basically this really rich storytelling. Is that something that you're looking to bring across into Wolfenstein?
Oh, definitely, yes. And we've also learned a lot over the years, all the mistakes that we've done. So I think the level of integration between storytelling and gameplay and just the sort of wholeness of that experience is going to be far above anything we've done before. It feels conceptually very strong, and so I think you're going to like it.
Is that tricky to balance? The fact that you've got this really aggressive shooter on the one side, and on the other side you're trying to tell a story.
Yeah, and we love that sort of mix between the sort of crazy gunplay and insane enemies and that really domestic and intimate character interactions. We love that blend. So it is challenging, but the way we approach it is we have sort of a creative collective, and all the people in that collective are sort of champions of various domains. So I'm the champion for the storytelling parts, and other people are champions for the gameplay parts, and we will go to war with each other to sort of fight for our cause, you know. And what comes out of that is just a very strong end result, because we find ways not to have to compromise, you know. So that's how we solve it, and that sort of mitigates the problem if you have like one person who's in charge of the whole thing, and they might lean one way or the other, like they really like storytelling and gameplay comes second tier, or they really like gameplay and they don't care so much about story or whatever, then that's the game they end up with. But our approach is to combat that and make sure that when this game ships, everybody is 100% satisfied with baby.
I think one of the standout moments in this generation, because I mean, whenever you play a game, you don't remember running through a hall, killing everyone. You always remember the really unique moments. So, Starbreeze game, The Darkness, with Jenny on the couch, that was a really iconic moment.
Thank
Are you
you.
looking to create more moments like that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That was. Yeah, I was. It's interesting because that moment. I wrote it as a solution for the problem. Because when you get there, Butcher, Butcher, is his name Butcher? It's so long ago. Yeah, his name's gotta be Butcher. He calls you and he tells you, he gives you a mission basically. And then, when we developed the sort of flow of that level, it hinged upon the player leaving our apartment and going on the mission. But I had this thought that what if you didn't want to leave? Like what if you wanted to be with Jenny at that point instead? We have to find a solution for that. So I wrote that scene with her on the couch and as a solution for that problem. But I was really happy with it. And that's the kind of thing that makes me love this medium, is that you can go from this one side of the extremes to the other, and I think that's really interesting.
Did you find many people actually sat on the couch and watched? It was To Kill a Mockingbird, right?
Yeah.
Did many people do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was also, we had this like, I don't know if it was a bug, but yeah, I think it was a bug. Like you had to look in a specific place to get up. In some way, so some people didn't realize that they could exit at any time, so they just sat there and watched the whole movie.
Was it the whole movie? I mean, I didn't get all the way through.
Yeah, it's the whole
God,
movie.
wow.
Yeah, it's the whole movie. And it's not the only movie, there are many movies in that game.
So what made you choose that film?
It's, well, obviously it's a classic, and it's really, really good. And it's the kind of movie that it just felt right for the moment.
Right, so I'm going to quote Warren Spector, called it a generically dark, monochromatic FPS kill the Nazi giant robot game, and said there wasn't enough variety in the industry. How do you react as a studio to someone like Warren Spector, who's obviously a big name? I mean, it's a really kind of off-putting quote, right?
It's not something... for us, like, we love this game that we're making. It's all-consuming. Like, it's our life to make this game, and it's our passion. And it might not be for everybody, and that's fine. And it doesn't bother me that people have an opinion that's different from mine, because as long as I get to do what I love, that's somebody else's problem. Well, single player is our passion, and we know that if we would invest time in developing a multiplayer in addition to the single player, that would dilute our resources, and we couldn't make the kind of single player that we wanted. So that's just about sort of creating the best possible game that we can create, and that's a single player only game.
So you kind of did that with The Darkness, right? The multiplayer wasn't great, but the single player was. So
let me answer in this way. We feel really fortunate that we have a publisher that really respects the integrity of the development and has as #1 priority just the best possible game. And we feel really fortunate that we're in that position. The game is coming out for PS3, 360, PC, and next generation platforms before the end of the year.
Said a joker to the thief. There's too much.
And just to finish up, do you think the Xbox One is the worst name ever?